A lot has happened in the raid on Sukuna. So much has happened, and it has been an emotional roller coaster. Sorcerers and non-sorcerers alike have risen to the challenge only to be brutally defeated by Sukuna. It seems every chapter they fall one by one. Every fight, Sukuna does something to completely separate himself from his opponent. Sukuna damn near looks unbeatable. First, he took on Gojo. This was a battle of titans. This fight was teased since the second chapter of the manga. The strongest modern sorcerer versus the strongest sorcerer in history. To me, I am biased. It looked like Gojo was the more impressive fighter. If it wasn't for Sukuna using Megami as a vessel giving him access to Mahoraga, Gojo would have won this battle. But he did end up dying. His ultimate sacrifice really drained and hurt Sukuna, allowing the others to even compete with him. Right after that, Kashimo took on Sukuna with everything he had. I respect him a lot for this. He made it clear from the beginning that he wanted to throw hands with the King of Curses. Unfortunately for Cash, after fighting Gojo, Sukuna fully reincarnated, and after that Kashimo was just no match for him. Soon after that, Higuruma and Yuji partnered up to face Sukuna. This duo was actually really impressive. Higuruma's tactical mind and Yuji's sheer willpower meshed well. Higuruma used his very unique domain expansion, Deadly Sentencing, eventually giving him access to the Executioner Sword, which is one of the strongest weapons in the series. Sukuna bests Higuruma and sadly kills him as he tries to protect Yuji. Their encounter with Sukuna was brutal. Higuruma's sacrifice to protect Yuji after fighting against him earlier in the series was a turning point, highlighting the deep bonds formed in these dire times. Higuruma's death hurt me. I know we didn't meet him into the Culling Games, but he was one of my favorite characters. I really love his domain expansion. Directly after that, Yuta, the young powerhouse, shows up and joins Yuji to face Sukuna. Partnered with Rika, Yuta was ready to fight. This fight was intense. We finally get to see Yuta's curse technique in full force. We also get to see his beautiful domain expansion, Authentic Mutual Love. His domain expansion basically allows him to utilize any technique that he's copied over the years without any restrictions or limitations. He's a master of them all. Yuta and Yuji did a fantastic job against Sukuna. This is honestly the closest he came to dying, but even Yuta's incredible strength wasn't enough. Sukuna eventually cut through his torso with a world-splitting dismantle. Immediately following that, Maki sneaks up on Sukuna and stabs him through his chest. Maki's journey has been one of growth and resilience. She's a superhuman. Her raw strength and speed and battle IQ is up there with any sorcerer. Her battle against Sukuna was fierce, showcasing her incredible skills and unwavering spirit. Sukuna ending up beating her with a black flash to the chest, but don't get me wrong, Maki went toe to toe with Sukuna with no hesitation and did more than hold her own. Even he was impressed with her. I made a video about Maki and the Zenin clan. It will be linked to this video. After that, Kusakabe was up next. He might not be the strongest sorcerer, but his bravery in the face of certain death was commendable. He fought hard, knowing all odds were against him. He doesn't have a curse technique, but he can use curse energy and activate simple domains, which he uses to defend himself against Sukuna's slashes. But in the end, he was just no match. Even Miguel unexpectedly returned to save Kusakabe from death. And while all this is happening, as the battle progresses, Yuji becomes more and more impressive, unleashing more curse energy and unveiling his newly acquired power. But then Sukuna unleashes his divine flames at Yuji and aims to end this war, which leads us to our next tragedy, Big Brother Choso. Choso, seeing this, knew that he had to protect his little brother Yuji from this attack. Driven by a mix of vengeance and brotherly love, he confronted Sukuna with raw emotion. Before Sukuna's divine flames reached Yuji, Choso created a blood barrier around him, completely blocking the flames from Yuji. But sadly, Choso could not protect himself and ends up dying right in front of Yuji. Yuji. This was a very emotional and sad moment in the manga. And in the latest chapter, Yuta has come back and done something crazy. He's copied Kenjaku's curse technique and has swapped bodies with the late body of Gojo. It seems this was his last resort, to swap bodies and fight Sukuna on equal terms. The latest chapter ends with Sukuna using Malevolent Shrine and Yuta using Gojo's Unlimited Void, but it was said that Yuta can only use his curse technique copy for 5 minutes and doesn't know what will happen afterwards. So even in these 5 minutes, if he beats Sukuna, it might be over for him. This might be the last we see of the young phenom. The raid on Sukuna has been a series of amazing battles and devastating losses. It's a grim reminder of the stakes in Jujutsu Kaisen. This is not a game, they're all fighting to live. These characters go great lengths to protect what they hold dear. Jujutsu Kaisen is the peak, the apex, the crescendo, the zenith of anime right now. I cannot wait to see how this story ends. Speaking of Sukuna, if you want to know more about his beautiful domain expansion, I made a video explaining it in all of its glory. Click the video you see on screen now.